In this video, I'm going to cover escape filters in depth. Escape filters are basically a filter which are available within the liquid language to allow you to include special characters in a string without changing the interpretation of those string by the programming language or format. So one example would be like if you want to display actually the HTML code within your Power Pages site, then you can use escape filter. Another example is to, from a security perspective, if you want to make the HTML safe, if you want to see that if someone is injecting a script within your application, and if you want to safely ignore that particular piece of code, then you can use HTML safe escape. And similarly, there is URL escape and XML escape, which basically does URL escaping and XML escaping a string, respectively. Escape sequence allows you to include special characters in the string. Basically, it helps in displaying strings without conflicting with the regular interpretation of those characters by programming language. Now, what do I mean by that is like, say, if you have a piece of HTML code, and now if that HTML code, if you want to show the user how to write a piece of code, and if you want to render that in your page, then by default, if the page gets loaded, the browser is going to interpret that as an HTML code and execute it. Now, if you want to escape that sequence, then you can use those escape filtering. Now, there are four different types: escape, HTML underscore safe underscore escape, URL underscore escape, and XML underscore escape filters, which are available. So I'm going to go through each one of this and show you in action. So this is a simple Power Pages site. I've created this page called as December, and it has nothing in it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in the backend. So how do you go in the backend is you click on edit code, and then you will be able to see this particular section. Now, this is how the page looks like. Now, let's take an example. So we'll take one example. One example would be to display a p tag. Okay, so I'm going to show a p tag. So if I have, so this is how you write a liquid code. And if I have a code, so I'll just put something in it. So I'll just write an HTML code. So first, before this, let me get rid of all these things. Let me write a simple p code. Now this p code, p tag, I'll just say we are approaching 2025. Okay, so this is a simple p tag. So if we run this code, it will actually render the p tag. So let me show you what will be the output. So just sync this, and it will show me the content of the p tag and not the p tag itself. So p is a paragraph tag in HTML, and we have written some text within that. And if we are rendering this, so it says we are approaching 2025. Now let me put a break tag here just to distinguish between different lines. So now I'll take the same thing again, and I will put this in a liquid format. So this is where you write the liquid code. So you put in a single quotes, uh, or maybe I'll not put it in a single quotes. I'll just paste it in the liquid. Okay. And again, I'll put a BR tag over here. Now this is a second example. So we are just injecting HTML code within the liquid. And once it is synced, you should be able to see the output. There's something else happening. Let me run this in the browser. So as you see over here, we are approaching 2025. And as you see over here, this is, we have written something within the liquid tag. Okay. Now take in another example. I will just copy this again, and I will put this p tag in a single quotes now. Okay. Let's see what happens. So I'll just put this single quotes and save this. sync, and once it is synced, I will just show you the output in the web page itself. Now, as you see over here, it has successfully executed the P code, right? And it has displayed we are approaching 2025. So this is coming from here. We are approaching 2025 as I have put it in a single quotes. Now, let's do one more thing. Let me copy this entire thing. And now what if I want to show this as the entire P tag? So I have an option. I'll just put a pipe. This is how you add a filter, and you just say escape. Save this, sync, and now as you see over here, we have successfully rendered the HTML content. So if you want to render HTML content, make use of the escape filter, and thereby you can render this code. So that's about using the escape filter. So I'm going to get rid of this line, and I'll just put it over here. Okay, so the next one is something called as so you can do the similar thing using H as well. So if I just copy this entire code, and now instead of escape, I will just put as H. So this was like it was used earlier to escape the HTML. So now if I just put as an H tag, it will do the same thing. So as we see over here, it has done the same thing, right? Now that's about the escape filter. Now next one is URL escape. So if you want to escape the URL, then how do we go ahead and do that? So uh, one example would be to get the URL. So let me see if I can pick up this URL. So I'll just copy this prompt. Okay. So URL escape. So I'll just say URL escape filter. Now here, how do you do that? Just put your code. This is the URL which we have copied, and put a pipe and just say URL underscore escape. So this is a syntax. So I'll just say save it. Now, as you see over here, this is a complex piece of URL. Let me reduce the size of this URL. So let me reduce this a bit, and you can see the question mark, you will see equal to, you will see ampersand, so all those sort of special characters over here. Now when you render this code by using the URL underscore escape filter, then see what it renders. So basically it will try to take out that special character and replace it with percent some value, so that it basically encodes and then give you this value. So as you see over here, HTTPS, so colon and slash slash is replaced by person 3a, person 2f, and then as you see over here, it does not have any special character. It is all properly encoded, right? So if you want to use this particular thing in your code, because sometimes you cannot use special characters as a part of the URL formation, then this is the most important filter which you will be making use if you're constructing a URL, or if you're parsing some content from the URL, or if you're encoding or decoding content from that URL. This is the thing which you're gonna use. Then another one. So we have seen. So then the last one, I'd say not the last one, but then there is something called as XML filter, or XML or HTML escape filter. So for that, if you have say HTML tag, so I have this HTML tag. So we are approaching 2025. So if you have this HTML tag, and if you want to XML escape this, then you can go ahead and do that. So again, put a filtering, put that in a single code. So this is like a HTML code or XML code which you have, and you can use XML underscore escape to escape the XML content. So this is just one example. Now another example for HTML filtering would be, say, take for example, if you have a tag, a simple tag img src equal to. So let me get the code. So img src equal to, I've just written a simple code. Okay. So I'll just copy this. Yep. So img src equal to, this is the uh, it is pointing to one of the website images with a width of 50 and 50 pixels, 50 pixels width and height. And I will inject a script on error. I don't know what the script does, but then let's assume the script does something fancy. It will do something. So simple thing which I can do is alert. Okay, it will just give you an alert. Now if this happens, okay, if you are extracting this component from a third party website and you have this JavaScript which is written, you may never know like what happens if someone clicks on this particular image, and you want to get rid of uh, the script component of it, and you just want to just embed the image. Then what you can do is put a filter and say html underscore safe underscore escape. So what it will do, it will remove the JavaScript component. uh, just close this. Let me see if I've done something wrong with the syntax. Yes, I've done something wrong. I haven't added this code. So you add this as a part of liquid code. This is a simple imgsrc equal to tag. So I'll just show you how this code looks like. So imgsrc equal to this width and height, and this is the part which will be removed from the code when post rendering. So html underscore safe escape will not allow clicking of this particular javascript function execution, right? So I'll just save this and I'll just sync this up. So we have seen a couple of examples. One is XML underscore escape, and another is HTML underscore safe underscore escape. So what this particular code does is basically, if you have anything written as a part of dynamic execution within your, say, img tag or a tag or any other tag which supports that injecting that scripting component, it will safely remove that and it will just render the image. So as you see over here, let me sync this correctly. So I think we, yeah, so as you see over here, this is escaped the xml component. However, from a scripting component here, I'll just put a single code. So I forgot to put a single code. Single code is added over here, and I'll just save this, sync this. And if the image path is correct, then it should properly render the image component. So as you see over here, it has successfully displayed the image component. So now this image component is coming from my website itself, and it has safely excluded the JavaScript, which is going to run on error or on click or on mouse movement or on key press. So you can do that using this filtering. So what we have seen, just to summarize, we have seen the escape filter. If you want to escape the HTML tag, if you can use H as well. Then there is something called as XML underscore escape, and then there is something called as URL underscore escape to escape the URL special characters. Then there is something called as HTML underscore safe underscore escape, which will basically allows you to remove the scripting component, and you can safely display the resource, which is like in our case, it is a JPEG component. So that's it, folks. This is how you do filtering using those escape sequences. Thanks for watching.